Hey guys, Mike Roberts, the Converse Cowboy podcast. We'll do these after every episode that we release. I'll touch on a little bit of what we talked about in the Dusty Whitford interview, some of the stuff that resonated with me, some of the stuff that stuck with me. Also, I'll probably just ramble on about whatever's on my mind, whatever I've got going on right now. So there's really no structure to it. I really don't have any agenda. I have no idea where this conversation is going to go. It's a conversation with myself. And, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the basics, and having a solid foundation. And I like to relate a lot of stuff in life to training horses. And I'm not a horse trainer by any means, very amateur at best, but I conceptually get the idea, and so Dusty he's a 2-year-old specialist working with working cow horses and cutters. And anytime something comes up for those horses at any age, it's nice to have a solid foundation, a solid set of basics on those horses to go back to, so whether they get apprehensive or you're trying to teach them something new, if they get stuck, you're able to go back to the basics. And I don't think it's any different in life, whatever you may do, whatever it is, if you're a guitar player, if you're a golfer, whatever it is, I'm in real estate. And so whenever I get hung up or I get stuck, it's nice to be able to go back to the basics and really practice that and work on that stuff. And really what does that is consistency, consistent practice, doing that stuff every single day, the repetition, the muscle memory that comes with it, and so success is very rarely a linear path. You don't go from here to here. And it took me a long time to learn that, we get hung up in this comparison game and looking at other people and seeing what they're doing. And that's one thing that I've learned is to not be jealous of anybody because I don't know what that person's been through to get to where they're at. Going along with those same lines, the consistency and with Dusty, he's got a very strong why behind what he does. He understands his purpose. He knows what he wants to do. He trusts the process. He has a no excuses mentality. And it's very contagious. When you surround yourself with people like that, tends to, at least for me anyway, I can appreciate that. And so, along the lines with the comparison game, like, no, I don't look at people and say, man, I wish I was like that, or I wish I was like that. Like, I take the good that I like from other people, like, yeah, that resonates with me, man, that's really cool. I'm going to try that. That's why I think it's so important to surround yourself with the right people. And this is no secret. It's not like I'm the first one to ever say this, but we are the sum of the 5 people we surround ourselves with most. And so aligning ourselves with those people that are doing the stuff that we're interested in doing at the level that we're interested in doing it at, the law of attraction kind of takes over. And you start to become that person. It's a very interesting game, and that's something, if I get interested in something, I'm going to try to find the best person I know possible to align myself with. One thing that I don't know if it's good or bad, but like the routines, in the RV life, my routine definitely got skewed. I tried to stay on as much as I could, waking up early and running and reading and doing all that stuff, but long days, long nights, we didn't get to sleep that much, so it kind of got skewed a little bit. But I think it's important when you can. For me, it works. And again, this is like, I'm not a fucking guru. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I'm just mentioning stuff that works for me and stuff that I've learned from others and stuff I've experimented with and tried. And I can do certain things, and then now I can feel this alignment with my truth. I can feel this alignment with my purpose, what it is that I'm supposed to do. I don't think anybody really knows. This is life. Nobody knows, capital K. I've heard Bob Dylan say it. Nobody knows anything. We think we know, but we're just human. We're all going through this life together. And so, but I'm curious, and so that's what drove me to start this show, sit down with some of these people to ask questions about the things that I'm interested in. especially specifically in the horse industry as it relates to performance horses, and then in life and mindset and psychology, philosophies, why people do what they do, how they do what they do, what gets them out of bed every single day. I'll talk about a little bit about expectations as it relates to performance and other things in life. Like, so I just got back from the summer spectacular, the cutting, and it was my second go. I didn't do as well as I wanted to do, and I'm still new to this sport. I'm new to everything, and James Payne is a guy that that has helped me quite a bit. And so when we got done with the run, I was talking to him about it, and he's like, "Look, man," he's like, "you're new at this. Nobody expects you to make every finals. Like, nobody expects you to really make any finals right now. You're new." And my rebuttal to him was, "Yeah, but I do. That's my expectation." And he's like, "Well, if you have that mindset, you're just going to drive yourself crazy." And I respectfully disagree with that, because I think it's not a bad thing to have an expectation, as long as you're aware that you don't have an attachment to that expectation. And what I mean by that is, like, that doesn't change my mood. Like, I expect to do my very best, and that's, yes, that is enough. If I try to do my best, that's enough. But my expectation is I want to make the finals. And so if it doesn't happen, like, it doesn't, yes, I'm frustrated for this long, but I'm not attached to the idea. I'm not worried about what other people think. It's not like it just ruins my day. And so that's what I mean by an attachment. Like, I'm not attached to that. And I think it goes for anything in life, in relationships, in business. If stuff doesn't work out, I think that's why people fear, people have fears and people have resistance to things because of the attachments that we have in life. And I've said this, I say it in meetings, I'm a real estate investor, and I say it in my meetings all the time. Like, I'm not really scared of anything. Like, I don't fear many things, if anything, because if I lost everything I've worked for today, I'm all right. It's okay. I'm still breathing. I'm still here. And so when we can, as humans, when we can release all those attachments, when we can let go, for me anyway, I feel like that's when we're living. And it's not like I have it figured out. It's not like those things don't come up, because they do. But with practice and consistent practice of awareness, through meditations, through journaling, through reading, through talking with other people who are aware of this mindset, it just expands that awareness. You can kind of wrap your head around it a little bit better. But that was a game changer for me when I really understood that concept of releasing all attachments and just being. That's another thing. We're in this life, we're conditioned. The social conditioning is to do. When really all we need to do is just be sometimes. Just go for a walk, think. It's all right to just kind of stare out into space every now and then. It's all art in a way, and I don't mean to get woo-woo on everybody, but that's something that there has to be a balance, at least for me, and I'll keep saying that because I don't want this to sound like I'm preaching. This is just my life, my perspective. And that's really all reality is our own perspective. It's our own perceptions, how we view the world. Like they say, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're struggling with, something that I think is very generic that people say is just be you, just do you. Well, what the fuck does that mean? It's something that came into my head, and so I journaled about it and thought a lot about that question, like, what does that mean? Just be you. And so for me, it's being aligned with what I know is true, what I know is authentic to me, what's genuine to me and in my life, and that's always going to change, right? Like, that's going to continue to change. I'll continue to improve on me, like the best version of Mike Roberts. That's going to continue to improve. So when people say just be you, you have to really know, you have to be aware of what's important to you. What do you value? What is it that is important to you? And if other people aren't okay with that, if other people aren't on board with that, that's fine. That's okay. And that's something that took me a long time to understand, because no other way to say it, in a very narcissistic way, I wanted everybody to like me. And so whether that I was in sales for a long time, whether I was conditioned to live that way, I got to think that's how that happened. That was an eye-opener for me. It was a very important awakening, because whenever I understood that, it's like, okay, I have this foundation, I have this to go back to. When something's unclear, when something doesn't make sense to me, align with the truth, like align with what I know is genuine to me. And if people don't like it, if somebody doesn't agree, it's not that I say I don't give a shit what that person thinks, or I don't care what that person thinks. My mindset is I'm okay with it, right? It's a very little shift, but I think saying I don't give a shit, it puts a negative connotation on it. I'm okay with it. Just means whatever you want to think is fine. Whatever I'm going to think that's my opinion. To kind of wrap everything up, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a guru of any kind. So I'm not trying to preach to anybody. I don't want it to sound like that or feel like that. This is, if anything, it's for me. It's therapeutic for me to talk about these things and the stuff that I've learned along the way, and really put these challenges up in front of myself. So when the challenges that come that are out of my control, mentally, I've already been there. Like I put these challenges in front of myself to be able to overcome the ones that are out of my control. So as I say at the end of just about every post, stay grateful, be kind. We're all human. We're all just going through this journey together, trying to figure shit out. So much love to everybody out there. Thank you for following along.